Hello everybody. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and welcome back if you were already a subscriber. In today's video, we are going to be doing a flip through of my January spreads, all completed and pretty well. Completed might be a strong word, but my January wrap up. I would also like to go ahead and say I'm so sorry. I probably sound awful. I'm very nasally. I may cough. I may sneeze. I am definitely under the weather. I am going to be fine. I just have like some sinus issues going on. So I'm really sorry for any icky interruptions, and I hope you can forgive me and still find this video very helpful. So let's dive into it. I'm also hoping that Binks doesn't jump up here. She's been very needy today, for lack of better phrasing. I am gonna go ahead and flip. I'll go ahead and like flip through the whole front part because I know in the setup for this, I think some things got like kind of delayed, and there's still some things that like aren't 100% complete. This is my ritual planner. So this is where my tarot spreads go, anything kind of witchy. So for the most part, like my tarot, crystals that I might have with me for the day, that kind of thing. In the front, I keep these 2 sticker sheets that are also sold on ritualplanner.com. I'll put the link down below along with a discount code. I'm pretty sure it's Wonder 15 or 20, but I will make sure that that's down below. The only thing that code does not work on is subscription items. I don't think there's anything really new in here, if I'm being completely honest. Sorry, this is like a very painful, disorganized flip through. I don't know if I had put all the stickers in here yet, because I think I had intentions to stamp them originally. And I think if you'll notice, like, I have like the kind of buzzwords of each card that was pulled, but then in others, I kind of have like a little kind of blurb, like my thoughts on that card. And originally when I started, I did January and February, and then I stopped because I didn't want to write any other thoughts. I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself, because that's like trying for me to, that's like trying to get me to understand what my thoughts are going to be on a tarot card 9 months. This is not what it is. This was like the literal thing. So you're asking me for my thoughts on why that tarot card applies to that month, and I don't know the context entirely. So now that I'm closer to March and I kind of know some of the things going on, indecision, confusion, information overload, I'm definitely 100% sure what that's about now, or at least 95% sure. And I'm pretty sure it pertains to my birthday at this point, because I still don't know what I want to do. The plan has changed so many times over the years. Literally, I've been thinking about this birthday for years. I'm turning 33, which is my Lord of the Rings Hobbit birthday. If you're not a Lord of the Rings fan, you'll have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. But if you are, and you've never noticed, when Bilbo Baggins turns 111, which is the birthday party that he slips on the ring and runs away from, basically, and he thinks he's super funny. And then he leaves the ring to Frodo. Frodo has the same birthday as him, and it's 33. And in Hobbit world, 33 is kind of like turning 21, like you're an adult. Like you've reached adulthood. You can do all the things. It's like a very big coming of age year. So I've always really wanted to do something very like Hobbit, Lord of the Rings themed. And it seems like every idea I've had about it has like disintegrated for one reason or another. And so now I'm feeling like very meh about it. And I'm very indecisive. I'm very confused. There's a lot of options, but now I'm kind of at the place where it's like, I don't want to spend a bunch of money and time doing a birthday thing. I would much rather not much rather, but there's certain things I need to take care of with my car, and there's other trips I'd like to take later in the year, and there's just things that the money needs to go to. So I've literally like continued to shrink it. But on the flip side of that, my boyfriend's like, oh, let's do this and let's do this, which is super sweet. And I'm thankful for, but yeah, I'm definitely in that place. So that makes sense. None of that pertains to January, but that's just why it like just drops off and is like really short and sweet after that. For January, it says 8 of coins, apprenticeship, repetitive tasks, skill development, focus towards healthier habits with money, food, and fitness. This is encouragement and reassurance that self-care has value. Looking back now, I can definitely see where the repetitive tasks and skill development really came into play in January, and not in the area that I necessarily thought it would be in. I thought it would pertain more to like my 9 to 5, but now that I'm like reflecting on it, I really think it was me like finally catching my stride with content creation. Like I say every time I go away that I get a little bit better. And I remember when I used to go on trips and like there would be no content while I was gone. Like there would be no pre-filmed stuff. And then this time there was even a bonus video. I haven't missed an upload day since I've gotten back either. And some of them have been some tight timelines, like today. It's a little late, but it's still on the right day. And so I'm going to count it as a win. And a lot of that has absolutely nothing to do with the trip. It has to do with that I haven't felt very well. And I've been trying to like not sneeze and cough and sound absolutely terrible, but I'm still getting it out there. So I definitely think it wasn't towards my 9 to 5. It wasn't towards money. It wasn't towards like food and fitness as much as it was me developing my skills in a content creation sense. So I don't use the January big spread. Maybe in the future I might like to, whether that's to notate maybe when Moon Magic Masterminds is, but I haven't used this spread yet. Also with the fact that this is a new planner, I'm very clear how I feel about planners, especially when they're new, which is I don't get decorative. I literally just follow the directions. I color inside the lines. I don't get crazy. I just use it as it's intended for the most part until I'm like, this would be better if this was here. And I definitely started doing that in the February spread, which we would get to in a February flip through. But as far as, you know, intentions and priorities and feelings and all of the writing, the main thing that I wanted to do was reevaluate my focus and my energy, and what I considered valuable. And I think that was really, I think it did definitely occur to where I was learning again that, you know, there is value in me taking time and saying, hey, I would love to do X, Y, and Z, but I need to do this first, or can we compromise and do a half day or what have you. I've also been playing with my work schedule a little bit, not in a detrimental way or anything that sounds really crazy, but basically in the sense of kind of having a lot of focus when I'm in the office and making sure I'm like steady knocking it out. Like instead of maybe having something that I'm watching in the background, I'm switching to podcast or something like where I don't have to look down at it occasionally to know what the heck's going on or what have you, like something that requires less attention. Oh, sorry for the sniffling. But essentially just restructuring that so I focus more on what I'm doing. And funny enough, watching or listening to something in the background helps me focus more. Like my ADHD thrives off that versus getting distracted. I get distracted, and I've learned like to silence certain things so that I can check them when I have a moment instead of feeling like I'm being bombarded and I gotta grab everything and then everything's a mess. Now it's, you know, if a call comes in and I see it and I can take it, I do, but also I'm keeping things silenced so that if I'm in the middle of, say, a report that I need to be focused on, my focus can stay there and I can call that person back or whatever. So just kind of working on what I deem valuable and what deserves my time, but also looking at all those things and kind of creating a hierarchy and structure inside that. I hope that made sense. And that goes along with, you know, looking forward to boundaries and discovery. As far as my goals, I didn't get as much work on the custom done as I wanted to. The cash envelope system and I were doing really well until we weren't, which there was a situation that was outside of my control that I had to restructure the cash envelope. And we'll talk more about that when we get to the actual budget system, like how the month went. But I would say it went very well for the first month back. Staying on budget, also, I'll share more thoughts on that when I get there. Deep cleaning the apartment was really, really difficult. There was a lot going on, and I think I just struggled to get the basics done every week. Also, if there's any weird traffic noises, I'm really sorry. No sugar, no alcohol. I did really well with the no alcohol. I think I only had alcohol twice through the entire month. And I've said this before, it's almost like comical that I even create a no alcohol task, because I am not a person that feels the need to drink a lot. I'm not a big cocktail person. I typically just drink wine. Which was really funny on the trip in general, but there were a couple times I wanted like Bailey's and cocoa and didn't have it. I don't remember what the second time was, but I know that I did break it again. Maybe it was bourbon. But typically I know the main instance that I'm thinking of is I took wine to the movie theater. And I had like this small bottle of wine with me. Respecting boundaries and listening to my body and my mind too. I definitely think there were some breakthroughs with that. As far as the habit tracker goes, so it was tarot workout journal, read 10 pages, nights I do dinner, and a no spent on non-essentials and work normal hours. And you'll see it just stops like on the 18th, because I was like, fuck this habit tracker. I have a habit tracker in my fitness planner and in my main Hobonichi planner. I did not need another tracker, but I wanted to give this one a go. What is ridiculous about this is a tarot tracker. Obviously, I'm going to be able to see what days I did tarot. Working out, that's going to be in my fitness. Journaling, that's comical. Like, it's going to be in one of those. Reading 10 pages, that is already charted somewhere else. The nights I do dinner thing fell apart very quickly because it was not applicable for like an entire week. It was not applicable. So, sorry, I had a call coming in and I needed to silence it. Sorry about that. But it wasn't applicable and it was fine. It was fine. We're not going to get into it, but it wasn't applicable. And then the work normal hours was really hard for me to chart, because what I meant by that is that I wasn't working outside of my normal business hours. So like I wasn't coming in early and I wasn't staying late. I was trying to do better about staying inside that pocket. Well, the problem with that is I was also noticing that in the restructure and prioritizing, I was doing non-work things during work hours sometimes, and that got a little muddy. So trash the whole habit tracker. As far as energy for the month, we've got Knight of Pentacles, money was 9 of Swords, love was 10 of Swords, and both of those were reversed. So I always write what the card is, and then in parentheses, like if it's reversed, I'll put that in there. If not, I'll just go straight into like the blurbs. Then we've got work is the World, 6 of Wands for health, 8 of Swords for spirit. Let's see, the energy of the month: hard work, productivity, routine, conservatism, stick to the plan, routine, vision you have with establishing value, time with priorities that will develop you. I think that was I think that's right on the money. I really do feel like that's how the month went. It was a lot of conservatism, lots of hard work to get to the vacation, very productive, very routine. Sorry. Love, recovery, regeneration, resisting, inevitable end. I don't know about the resisting an inevitable end part. That sounds very dramatic. I definitely think there was a regeneration, because Jeff and I ended up having a really like interesting conversation about a week or two, maybe like 2 weeks before we left for the trip. That was really like clearing and cathartic for us both. Money, inner turmoil, deep-seated fears, secrets, release, worry definitely happened. Like I said, there was just like some unexpected things that caused the cash envelope system to have an issue. So obviously that tracks. Work, completion, travel, accomplishment, integration, fulfillment. I hit my 4-year anniversary and we are working on hiring somebody. So I think that's kind of in line with that. Don't know about the travel part. 6 of Wands, reverse, excess pride and lack of recognition. In regards to health, I'm trying to like think. I don't know off the top of my head. Spirit, self-limiting beliefs, inner critic, new perspective. Yes. I definitely am queen of self-limiting beliefs, queen of it. I am my own worst critic, and I did get some new perspective over the course of the month. And I think I really struggle with, and I think we all do, that balance between boundaries and being selfish. And I think that there is a really fine line to that. And I feel like the fine line and where it comes into play the most is like communication, that you're communicating clearly and with compassion to the people that you need to create those boundaries with. Like, you don't have to be an asshole to create boundaries, but you do need to communicate them clearly. People are not mind readers. And I think that that was like definitely part of the conversation with Jeff too, is like, you know, if one person needs to do X, Y, and Z, the other person can only respect that if they're communicated with properly about what's happening and the expectations, so that they can help that person reach those goals. So that was really like a definite thing in the month. As far as tarot reading goes, some days were better than others. I'm not obviously going to go through every single day, but basically you'll see where if I pulled one card, where it stood. On Tea and Tarot Tuesdays, I'll usually try to just be a part of that and write down everything that Renee says, because she's freaking amazing. And then in the notes section, I tend to put whatever crystals I carried with me for the day. Again, some weeks are better than others, and sometimes you'll notice that I carry some crystals, but I don't actually do a card pull. Like, I may just feel like I need X, Y, and Z crystals and grab them. This was like my daily pull, and then I ended up missing Tea and Tarot Tuesday, but I had left space for it. I did not do a new moon spread, so that's why that's not filled out. Not a lot of tarot spreads this week either. The 9 of Cups reversed, I'm pretty sure came from Sagittarian Tarot's energy for the week kind of thing. I did do a full moon spread. And I really just kind of dove back into like what I was saying, like those negative thought patterns that prevent me from productivity and progression in the areas that I value, excuses and doubt. I was really like trying to like get that the fuck out of me, and allow my intuition to just guide me in the right direction and flow with this energy versus like fighting it every step of the way. And yeah. And I was grateful that I'm great at planning and adapting, because that is something that I am really good at. I think that comes from a lot of years in retail, like in being like client facing, to where like you have to adapt and pivot a lot and not drop your face, basically. Like, you constantly have to look like everything's okay, even if your head is a like World War II zone in there. And then it goes through these great questions like, where am I now? What's influencing me? What have I created since the last new moon? What is no longer serving me? How can I let go and release this energy? And what can I learn from this cycle? And I'm trying to, this was like a few days before we left for the trip, and I was feeling a lot better going into it at that point. Like, I really had like good vibes, good feelings, good intentions going into that. So that is January Tarot Planner in a nutshell. Like I said, it's something that is new to my planner lineup, so it's not always as fleshed out as I would like it to be, but I'm also quite fine with that. Like, I don't get really caught in the weeds about that. when a new planner is introduced, I'm more intent on not fighting it, but trying to use it as much as possible. Like, I haven't really been doing a lot of tarot or anything like that lately. I've just been busy or not felt well. So I'm just kind of carrying on. So getting into the next one, which is my budget planner. And this little guy stays in my wallet. The first page, and these are all in the setup, were my expenses. This is kind of just a balance, carrier, minimum, and amount paid sheet. Then I went into my weekly logs. So the biggest change between January and February is that I just wanted to do like a consecutive run and then just draw a line when the week ended, when that quote unquote week ended. So I wasn't doing every 7 days, I was doing every 8 days, because most months don't have 28 days. Even February this year doesn't have 28 days. So it was really hard for me to find like a good break point that didn't feel really strenuous when I got to the end. Because if you do it every 7 days, it means that your last your last envelope would have to stretch for 10 days instead of 7, which could be really stressful at the end of a month. So my thought was to go every 8, and that certainly helped out a good bit, just by kind of dispersing that out a little bit. And so that was just like a consistent log. What's different about, and you'll see, like, I didn't even use the last page. I didn't end up needing it at all. So in February, I'll give you like a little sneak peek. Each 8 days has its own page, which will prove to be very helpful. And I'll show you why here in a little bit. So for January, I listed off the paychecks and then what was paid or migrated or didn't need to be paid. And then this was something really fun that I enjoyed and I look forward to doing in the future. So at the end of each week, what I did was I totaled up the spending. And then my goal is to be at 150 or under, obviously. So I was over $80 and I was 100% sure it was takeout madness, because I literally went through an entire weekend where I ate takeout every single day, not for every single meal, but I was over the top about it. And I knew I had been, so I was not really shocked. So my action item was no takeaway until my hair appointment, which, I think it was funny. There was like a loophole. So I brought my boss some soup I had made, and I was really craving an Italian place that's literally on my way home, and I ordered it. And then as I got ready to leave, she knew about the goal, because I was like, screw it, I'm gonna get it. I don't care. I don't even care, because I was so brain dead at the end of that particular day that like there was no way I could go home and like actually cook myself anything. I probably could have powered through or grabbed something out of the freezer, but those were those days. So she was like, put it on the company card. Trade you. You made me soup, I'll get you dinner, kind of thing. It was really sweet of her. So there was like a little loophole, but for the second week I was over because I had bought some things for the trip and kind of bulk bought some hair care things. And again, that gets a little dicey for me sometimes, because it's not necessarily that way on a weekly basis. Like I basically bought, I restocked my hair care in my bathroom, but also bought travel size hair care stuff that are like smaller versions of things instead of like the mega pump bottles that I buy for at home. So I'll buy like normal size hair care when I travel, because I hate travel size bottles and my hair is way too long. So my action was no additional trip items. And that was basically like, do not buy anything extra, like stop. Meaning no cute outfits or extra backpacks and shit that you don't need. And then week 3, I was over by $6.81. This does not include hair. So I had no action item, because being over by $7 is not like the end of the freaking world. And then week 4, it was over $5.76 and no action item without the chiropractor. I did end up having to go to the chiropractor. I ended up only being out of pocket about, was it like $15, because I got a gift card. I'm so sorry. This sounds awful. I had a gift card and I was able to like use that. It was like a Visa gift card. So I didn't end up having to come out of pocket, but I had to go to the chiropractor to get my neck and back fixed immediately. I had no time before we left for the trip to do this, and I had to do it. And stay tuned for how that's going to work out, because I don't even really know right now. But more or less, I had 2 weeks that were not so great and 2 weeks that were pretty good. I also made this list of kind of like quarterly items, like from Coffee Monster Co. to Binks's items to refilling, cleaning, and toiletries, dry cleaning that I'd like to do quarterly. I'd also like to add on here, what was it that I was going to put on here? Like maybe like car maintenance type of things that I'd like to take care of quarterly. But I'm trying to go ahead and create like a running list so that I can create like a sinking fund for those items so that it's not a problem. But that is it for the budget planner in January. Super simple, nothing to really get too into. Then going into the health and fitness, which is my Hobonichi weeks. So we'll just get a quick look at the monthly that I did. I did not do a monthly spread for February, and I have talked about this in setup videos before. Sometimes I do them and sometimes I don't. It just really depends on what's going to happen. So for January, I knew this would be a really good opportunity for me to try to like do a meal plan for an entire month and take into account holidays or anything like that. I did want to do a cleanse specifically, and then the new month would kick off with In Bulk and then our New Orleans trip, which was a big reason why I chose not to do a meal plan for February, because pretty much by the time, and I feel like everyone can relate to this, by the time you go on vacation and then come back and try to get in the groove of things, like especially if you're gone for like 5 days, like we didn't get back until Tuesday. And then the rest of that week is a wash. So that really would have given me like 2.5 weeks. And I don't know about you guys, but if I'm away, the first thing I want to do when I get back is almost have like things that I miss from home that I didn't have at my disposal for a while. So basically I did a meal plan. I did not follow this to the letter, but what this did do is it provided me with lots of meal plan ideas. So if I ever got stuck and I was like, what's something that I can make or cook or take out from somewhere that I haven't thought of? I was like, ooh, let me look at the meal plan. I ended up not even doing the cleanse here. I actually did it here, I think it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was when I did it. So, and it went okay. The cleanse was, we'll talk about the cleanse when we get here. The cleanse actually went really well. Then let's flip over to my dailies or weekly spreads. So you'll notice in a very sloppy fashion, I have dates stamped at the top of each spread, and then created like a little habit tracker. Sorry, I was looking to make sure I was still in frame. I created a little habit tracker, and then I just wrote the days of the week. And that way it gave me a place to put my mood, my energy, and a workout if I did it. Hearts represent intimacy. I did a really poor job at tracking my cycle this particular month, unfortunately, but I think I did okay with everything else. The trackers changed minimally throughout the weeks, just playing with different categories. But I do usually have like AM and PM skincare, workouts, meds and supplements, and my steps. And temperature and mood and energy. I am trying so hard to remember to track my temperature, and I don't know why I have such a blind spot. The first time I did it, I was so good. Like I think I tracked it for like a whole month or something. Like I was so on point. Then I just fell off. I don't know what happened. And you'll notice I'm using the left hand side or the right hand side because I used the right hand side in 2022 and 3. So, any blank pages I commandeered for 2024 purposes. Let's see if there's anything. I was very anxious that first week, and it looks like my energy overall for the month was really good, I can honestly say. My energy has been more medium low since I've gotten back from the trip though, but I think that's just like trip lag and just not feeling well. I was not having a really great week this particular week. There was a lot of anxiety, frustration. I was tired. I didn't feel great. I was just very defeated is a good way to put that. Yeah, there was just a lot happening. Then we start to get decorative. Now I know what my plan, like what I need things to start looking like. This was an unused week. So what I did was I ordered the covers from Coffee Monster Co. and just popped them in. So this is like the only spread probably for a while that you'll see like this, where it's 2 weeks on one page. So we've got the 15th and the 21st here, and then the 22nd through the 28th here. And you'll also see like I kind of dropped off on tracking moods and energies here for a little bit. But I love this like 2 week long tracker. I think that's super nice. And I think originally I had planned, or no, this is the week that I did do the cleanse. So that's there. Then I lied. They're back to back. I was like, I feel like I did it somewhere else. So same thing, use my date stamp or my date covers on this side. I just put a piece of washi tape that was kind of color themed, that pretty like gold gingham over the top. I'm so sorry. I'm probably like giving my voice a serious ass workout right now. And you'll see that this creeps into February, so little February spoiler. And I already put this little note. It says, all tracking subject to interpretation and adjustment, Mardi Gras, heart, OJ cocktails, maybe just a no-go. Spoiler, and we'll talk about this in the flip through for February for sure, but I have been having issues for the last couple years with traveling and not feeling so great. And specifically like having some tummy issues and nausea, and I couldn't figure out why. And then this trip, it was just like my light bulb went off like on the way home that maybe it's something to do with the acidity, because I am a mimosa lover, but most of the time when I'm drinking mimosas, I don't really eat anything until I became a foodie. And I started thinking back and I was like, I think that this has always been a thing, that if like I'm at a brunch and I eat and drink, it's messing with my stomach. But if I just have like a cocktail and I don't eat anything for a while, I'm okay. Like once, the acidity processes. So that might be a whole thing. I don't know what to do about that. But I do love how these last couple of spreads came together and like were more colorful. And that's definitely something that I'm going to start doing as we continue on in my Hobonichi refurb journey to use all the pages. So that does it for the health and fitness. Now for the main squeeze, and the one that we're all here for, the Hobonichi Han. I'm using this like little front pocket as just like a little keepsake thing. So going straight to the yearly, I'm going to flip this so that we can see what I was tracking and what I did really well at. Waking up at 5 a.m. is kind of right there in line with the no alcohol thing. It's almost comical. Like I am usually up really early. Since I've not been feeling well the last couple days, I've gotten up at 2 and 3. I made myself sleep in, like I turned my alarm off and I was still up at 3, and then made myself stay in bed and roll around and fade in and out of sleep until about 6, where I was like, okay. Because I laid down at like 8, and I can tell you honestly, my body feels better. I asked Jeff, I was like, do I sound better? And he was like, you sound more nasally today, but you definitely like have your bubbles back. Like I sound chipper. I'm like, I think it's because I just slept, honestly, because I don't feel as fatigued, and I was very tired. I was very fatigued, and I was still very like congested. So I'm working towards okay. As you can see, waist trainer, complete and total fail. That's why it's no longer on the tracker for a little while. It's not that it's not something I do want to do it, but that goes right alongside with the temperature. I don't know what my malfunction is and why I can't remember that it's something I want to do. until it's like the end of the day and I'm filling out the tracker. Workouts actually went really well. Last month, I was actually really quite pleased with that. One of the big things that I have figured out since my hip issue has happened is that the elliptical and I are very good friends. I've also tried the stationary bike a few times. I tend to mesh better with the elliptical. That's more in line with like what the treadmill felt like to me, but it's just less impact. And what I love is I take my book now. So it's like a 2-in-1. I'm getting my workout and reading my 10 pages, and I always do 30 minutes, but if I'm drag assing in my book or I want to finish a chapter that may be longer than 10 pages, I will keep going. So I've had workouts that have gone all the way up to an hour and still not had any pain. Like I feel like I've gotten a good cardio in from the elliptical as well. Like it's keeping my heart rate up longer. I think, which is actually causing me to perspire, which is really hard for me to sweat. That's too much information, but like I could run miles on a treadmill and not sweat. And I don't know why, but like the elliptical will give me like a solid ass workout. So my steps were pretty good. Another thing that I was doing was if I wasn't getting a lot of steps at work, I was making myself go down to the elliptical. And I did this with the treadmill, but the treadmill was just, I don't know. I've gotten a new love with the elliptical, but I try to hit my 12,000 or at least 10,000 with the elliptical. And I try to like come home and like do something active and get to my 10 or 12 before I call it a day. Water is something I always struggle with, and I'm struggling really, really hard this month, which is bad because I need to be, because the sinus medication is drawing me out even more. Like I said, reading has gone up exponentially because of the whole elliptical thing, French custom and 5-year. It's just sad. That's so sad. And then saving. So I want to talk about this and why it kind of stopped here. This is about the time so I made a payment on a card, and for some reason that I had never heard of as long as I've been doing this, they held it for 2 weeks. So they had already taken my money, had the money, and were holding it and wouldn't release it for 2 weeks. Well, that was really problematic because that card was paying for certain things. They were claiming that it was because it was such a large amount. And I was like, that makes no sense to me, because if it were fraud, like if it was going to bounce, basically is what they were insinuating. I was like, then my bank would have never released it. Like, you guys have, at the point that I found it out, they had the funds for over a week, but they were like determined they weren't going to release them for like another week, which was really annoying. So that meant that all the cash I had on hand had to go out in place of what that card was supposed to be paying. So it was a very manic panic. But what the save goal refers to is that on the first, I put a penny into my save jar. On the second, I'd put 2 cents, and so on and so forth. Well, the fact that I hit like a weird part and I didn't have any more pennies on me, and I like had no more cash to really break down. So it just like dead stopped. I will get it all filled in and it'll be fine. Now that we're in a new month and things are moving copacetically again, I just haven't had a minute since getting back from the trip and getting sick, to go handle that and get my savings jar updated. As you can see, we're like well into the middle of February at this point. I'm actually filming this on Valentine's Day. Like, that's why my cute sweater has hearts on it. So happy Valentine's Day, guys. That's also kind of why the video is late, because I was hoping my voice would sound better. All right, flipping over to the monthly tab. So this is not the most exciting monthly spread that I've ever done. You can see clearly I was struggling through the cleaning schedule of the month. Just because something's not checked off doesn't mean I didn't touch it. I just don't exactly have an accurate day that I did it, so I don't want to say I did it, but I keep up like daily and weekly maintenance, but I just need to be better about tracking it off when I have like that task done. But I always keep my cleaning lists around the borders, and then in the main calendar itself is content, and you will see the oops where I had to draw a line through something because I had content and I accidentally deleted it. So I had to do an emergency plan with me vlog, which ironically has gotten a good amount of views, and I was really shocked by that. So I definitely think moving forward, I'm going to be trying to do a plan with me for a whole week, as well as doing a vlog and showing all my planners in that day, and kind of like a plan with me, that style, every single month, if that makes sense. So you'll get 2 different kinds of plan with me every single month, at least. Oh, we don't need to show that. Just kidding. And you'll also see like some Facebook posts. So I'm back in the Coffee Monster Co. Facebook group slowly but surely. So I hope to see you over there. I love being in that group, and I'm hoping to also start posting on Instagram a little bit more. If you went to my Instagram, you would have very little to no idea that I'm a paper crafter or a planner gal. Like you would just think I did Disney stuff. I'm just really bad about posting over there, but I definitely feel like I want to be more active on that side this year. So we will get over to the actual weeklies. Most of the product that I use in a weekly spread is going to be, sorry, I'm again making sure I'm in frame. Oh, fun fact. See if you can spot the difference and why this spread looks funny. If you don't know, you don't know. So I'll tell you here in a second. But see if you can figure it out before I say something. But most of the product that I use is going to be Coffee Monster Co. That's just like right off the jump. You'll see all the matching stickers. I want to try to be better this year about incorporating other brands or things that are just in my stash, because there's no reason like not to mix and match and have fun with it. I am a big matchy person, but still I would like to get these stickers out of my stash. Oh my goodness. I probably am going to need to blow my nose after this video, because I can totally feel that it's necessary, which is really gross, and I'm really sorry. So I used my Reading and Resting washi tape, which was comical because reading and resting would imply I was doing those things, but it was literally right back into the fray of work. So like the manic work one would have been a more fitting washi for sure. So the thing that is weird about this is I started off the week and I wanted all of my personal activities to be in this like cappuccino brown color, and then work tasks to be in the sesame gray. And then when I got to this side of the spread, I don't know what happened in my brain, flipped it. So everything that's in sesame gray is personal, and everything that's in the cappuccino brown is work. Totally ridiculous that it's like, but it's such a like smooth transition. Like I've had that happen where I've gotten it right on Monday and then wrong on Tuesday, and then it looks a little bit weirder. And unless you're me and you know that, or I told you, you would probably look at this spread and be like, it looks fine to me. Some things that I love about this particular week: watching Greyhound and finishing Ted Lasso. I love Ted Lasso. It was so good. And being back in the office was really nice as well, and just kind of getting into it. Another crazy thing that happened this week was my 4 hour long live stream. Yes, it really was 4 hours. So if you need a great background noise, feel free to head over to the channel, click the live tab, and you can go for a ride. It's like full flips of all my 2023 planners. This next week is a working washi. This one was in one of the quarterly subscriptions from 2023. And I also used my dark gray Uniball Signo for this particular week. Owen's actual birthday and birthday party was this week. Yeah, I was watching Leilani's scrap videos, just kind of getting myself into the mood for getting back into Project Life. I went and took myself to Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Loved that. I was doing a rewatch of Wheel of Time that ended, and then I got to see the second season. Really big fan of that, and so thrilled that they're doing a season 3 has been confirmed. Originally, this was supposed to be the week I was going to juice, so that's why I had the fruits and veggies. This is from an Advent calendar. This was from the Advent for 2022. She didn't do an Advent in 2023. Not sad about it. My wallet was happy. Then I had my hair appointment, and it was Martin Luther King Day, and there was all the craziness that happened with that. Lots of fun Happy Meal came that week. This day was bananas because it was supposed to be like, we were supposed to get snow and ice and sleet and all these things, and that never happened. It was just like ridiculously cold, like 14 degrees, 19 degrees, 17 degrees, 16 degrees. Like, it was really low lows, and that does not typically happen here in Georgia, and there not be some accompanying weather. So really, really crazy. Trying to think of anything else that was really of super big note. I watched A Man Called Otto. That was really good. I started rewatching Gilded Age, and someone in the group commented, and when I say the group, I'm 9 times out of 10 referring to Coffee Monster Co. group, said that they really, really enjoyed that because I think I posted this spread, or maybe I posted this spread, I think, the next one, in the group, and they were like, oh, I loved Gilded Age too. Pro tip, guys. So I'm a big fan of this. I love to find shows that have an accompanying podcast because I watch the episode and then I'll listen to the podcast while I do dishes, fold laundry, like craft, all those things that don't require me like to look at a TV screen, or I'm at work and I'm doing filing. Like, it's really upped my efficiency because, again, I'm not seated concentrating on something. And Gilded Age is one of those that it does have a podcast. That's why I'm saying all that. Jeff and I watched Aftershock. Absolutely terrifying. It was like a 3-part series. Absolutely terrifying. We watched the new Indiana Jones finally, which was good. We watched The Creator. It was okay. I was not impressed. You'll hear me just talk about lots of content I consume because I really do not think you guys are particularly interested in my recurring tasks, which are usually tidying my apartment, lots of phone calls and client maintenance and work things. And yeah, I don't think you guys are super interested in that. This was a really fun date day. I'm not going to lie. Jeff and I cooked really good, like comfy, homey food. And I finally broke out with one of my Gideon's cookies. So Gideon's is this is also a pro tip. You'll notice this looks different than the other stickers kind of, because if you look really, 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 really close, you'll see I've like fussy cut this out. It's like if I have a little extra piece of the washi, I'll cut out around it and save it like a sticker. That's going to happen again, I think, here in the next spread. Yeah. So I'll show it to you again. But that is a pro tip if you don't want to throw away those fun little pieces of washi. You can always make a little DIY sticker. And that was the perfect one because it was a little emoji holding a cookie. And I love Gideon's. They're out of Orlando. And when I go on my annual trip, I will get the maximum amount of cookies that I'm allowed to get, which I think they've changed it now, but it used to be 12. So I stuck to that this last trip because it seemed a little exorbitant to get more than that. But basically I get 12 cookies and I allot myself one a month, and I'll take it out of the freezer. It takes about 2 hours to thaw, and you don't warm it up or anything. You just set it out on the counter. Or if I know I'm going to use it for something, I'll set it out like a day early, or maybe put it in the fridge or something like that. But I let myself have one a month. And so Jeff and I had a pistachio chocolate chip with toffee, which is so good. This spread, I actually took the Biome washi and broke it up. So the biomes obviously are continuous, but I chop it like right at the point so that they all are the same biome. And I think this is like the Icy Wonderland theme, which was funny because these weeks should have been flipped, because this ended up being the week I juiced and this ended up being like the Arctic Tundra week. This was the spread that I did post. I'm pretty sure, yes, 100% sure now, that this is the one that I posted that was commented on. Some fun things about this week. Oh, and this is that washi cut it out thing. Again, that's from like the Sleepy Time washi, and we did go to bed very, very early that day. very intense work days as I'm getting ready to leave for the trip. And my boss and I just tend to have this habit of being out of office in tandem with each other, or like with very small overlapping days. Like she was basically out of office my first day back with her kids and had kid obligations. And then we had like 2 days together, and then now she's out of the country. So it's been really crazy. Another wild thing that happened this particular week, I got a kink in my neck again. Now, and there's another one where I've cut it out. That was from the chores washi. Sorry, I'm really excited because apparently I was trying to make good use of them in January. And we can talk more about this in the daily pages, but I basically got a kink in my neck again. The last time this happened, it was like March of last year. No, that's wrong. No, March of 2022. Three. Yes, 2023. What year is it? Basically, I get this kink in my neck, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's not really my neck. It's more of like my shoulder and into my neck, and it's like wrapping around to my back. It's like it's like if you took your hand and you set it on your shoulder going backward, like if you just touched held your shoulder, and it like wraps just like that. And it was awful. So I was icing it because I had figured out from the last time that I needed to ice it. And so I kept doing that, and I felt like we were on the up and up. And then, ba-bam. What the fuck? This Tuesday morning, I was in the shower, and I look up and I look down, and it pinched so hard, you guys, I thought I was going to fall out. And I have a pretty decent pain threshold, and I can handle things pretty well, but it pinched so hard, so bad, I thought I was going to fall out. And I really just tried. What is my cat doing? Very random things. But it pinched so bad, I ended up having to go to the chiropractor 2 days in a row. And there was this big, massive rush because we were leaving on the 1st for New Orleans. So it was bananas. So this week is obviously January into February. This is an older washi from my stash. I'm not 100% sure where it's from or what company did it, but to me, it definitely had that in bulk vibe. So we've got kind of like those still fall, like winter colors, but you're seeing like those pops of floral. And in bulk is all about light and bringing light back in because we're heading towards spring, but we're kind of like, come on, you can do it. It's like getting a little baby to walk towards you and take just that extra step. So you're going to start seeing like certain flowers and greenery pop up a little bit, but you need to kind of like, you look pretty. You can do this. Gosh, can you pop another bud out? Like you're just giving it some encouragement. So I thought this would be really, really nice to do. So I've got that. I also was doing a little bit of Star Wars watching because I had finished Gilded Age. I didn't want to start anything new because I knew we were going to be gone. And as you can see, there was like no watching except for this one afternoon, because it was raining while we were there, which we'll talk about that in February. But on the afternoon it rained, we just kind of stayed in, and Jeff took a nap, and we had Good Omens too in the background. So I didn't want to start anything new. So it sounded like a good time for me to kind of like get back on my Star Wars binge. If you guys are new, then spoiler alert, I'm a huge nerd, obviously, but I'm actually doing a full rewatch of Star Wars now that I'm an adult and I can comprehend them better. I'm doing it in chronological order of how they should be watched, not in order of release, just to be clear. And that does include series. So last year I did take a very long time to go through things like Clone Wars, and I will 10 out of 10 recommend them. If you are a genuine Star Wars fan and you want the background and you care about the lore and you care about the storylines and you're not just like watching them to watch them, I really recommend it. It was freaking wonderful. So now we can go into the daily pages. And the first thing I want to say, you guys, is I have not had daily pages like this in years, because I did 2 years in a Kokuyo. I did 1 year in a passion planner. I did have my AVEC in the A6 last year, but it does not hold a candle to how freaking amazing it's felt, because I love that I've had a space to write a really, really, really big long to-do list. That's not like me using separate papers and sticky notes and things has gone down dramatically. Like everything is in one place now, and it's been so good for my brain. So I really, really love this. And it's also given me a great place to brain dump. So some fun things are that by the time I got to some of these pages, like this one, and I was playing catch up, some product had already arrived that was applicable to that day. So for instance, the first day of the year, we were just being super cozy and hanging out as a group. So it was Jeff, Justin, and myself. We were just having a cozy vibe. And the Overstock sale, had already happened, but I placed an additional Overstock sale after the fact. So, and what I mean by that is like and I'm a big believer in this, if people already have the product, let the people who haven't had a shot at it get in there and get at it, because I've been on both sides of that and respected it accordingly. So when the Overstocks went live the 30th, I bought what I wanted from the Q4 subscription because I didn't get anything because I had missed out on the cutoff timeline. So I ordered what I needed. And then on the 1st, while I was waiting for the subscription slots to open up, I placed an additional order. So I used this super cute, because I mean, how freaking cute is this? So of course we're talking about stationery supplies because I still had to buy into the subscription slots, but also this is like so New Year's Eve vibes. So I thought this was really cute. And this is the stamp washi from the Q4 subscriptions. And then we watched Greyhound, and I've talked about this already, and I will be showing my Q1 2024 subscription items in the video on Sunday. So that's going to upload on Sunday for you guys to enjoy. But I did get all the slots that I wanted. Actually, I got more than I wanted. All I really wanted was a pen pal slot. And then I was like, I got that. And I was like, let me try and see if I can get Washi Wizards, because I'm a self-proclaimed washi whore. So I was like, let me see if I can get that. Got it. And then I was like, let me see if I can get snail mail, because I love to have duplicates of the sticker sheets, because if not, I'll hoard them. And I got that. So I am set. That's exactly all that I will need. And that gives me duplicates of what I need to, and I can just not have to fight anymore for those slots. If you're interested in the subscription, new slots will open up on the 1st. She's been very clear that slots will be very limited because she is trying very hard to make sure she has a good balance between what her team can handle and what service she can provide. She's just trying to be a good business owner. And I know that doesn't resonate with everyone, but I completely understand where she's coming from. And I have had to have ninja fingers or fight frustration as well. And I was not happy about how some of the information was given out, but I completely understand as a business owner what she's trying to do and where her head is at and what she feels is the best thing for her mental sanity and her business. And I respect that she is stating those boundaries. I will always go to bat for Coffee Monster Co. and Helen Wang. I swear to God, would follow her into battle. Anyways, getting into this. So as you can tell, I really develop a very clear heading style. I did not like this. I think I only do this once. I loved it in my A6, but I did not like it here. This was also one of my favorite ways to break down some task lists. So I have kind of my chores list, my work list, my planner list. From this point on, I basically just do the headers, and then I am going to change up the spacing a couple times. And I really like how most days turned out. This day I obviously finished Ted Lasso. That was the biggest thing of the day, I think. Let's see. Looks like some work whining. But yes, I definitely finished Ted Lasso and cried a bunch, and it was wonderful. Had a really clunky day, and then my 4-hour live. and I had Fratelli's. Why was the day clunky? Oh, I went to the wrong car place. I had to help Jeff get his car to the repair shop, and I went to the wrong one. These are kind of like boring to-do lists. Like, they don't really have the headings or anything fun. I was doing a little bit of doodling and trying that out to see how I felt. I think I need to practice more, but I do really like this whole like heading style. It's very rare that we're in the office on a Friday, but if we are, it is 100% because of Godlewski. Once a quarter, we come in just for him and his noon meeting that lasts all of 15 minutes. So funny. And then I made lists of things I wanted to do over the weekend, which is definitely something I like to do, is like make long form lists that go over multiple days. You'll see another one as I get close to the trip. These are lots of finishing things. Oh, wait. Oh, I started season 3 of Ted Lasso. This is where I finished it. I was like, that is not what I remember. I also used a different pen on these spreads. I used a Uniball 1 in black, and you can totally see, even though it's like still 0.38, how much darker and bolder it came out. And it also skipped a bunch. I don't know why those pens love to skip on Hobonichi paper, but they do. I finished Anxious People from Frederick Bachman. So this was like the day of finishing. Then I took my tree back to my mom's and got Maple Street, because if I'm ever on that side of town, Maple Street is like 7 minutes from her house. So it's a must. I started lifting weights again. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. This day was really emotional. So Owen's actual birthday happens to coincide with the same day that my sister passed away. So on this day, I was very overwhelmed that I was thinking about that she had been gone for 17 years, but that he was turning 9. And I have another friend of mine whose daughter's birthday is on that day. And without that particular person having Charlie, is the name of her daughter, and no, it's not for Charlotte. It is, her real name is Charlie. Without Charlie being born into the world, I wouldn't have gotten the job with that company because they wouldn't have needed a replacement. So like, there's these like strange, like one-off correlations between people that I've met in my life that surround either her death day or her birthday that I've become really close with just based off of that connection. And, he is too young for me to ever explain that to him. And maybe one day, you know, when he's much older, I can, but it definitely keeps me from it allows me to be nostalgic and happy and okay, but I still definitely have to deal with those thoughts. And it's for anybody that's ever gone through a loss, you can understand, you know, that sometimes on a remembering day, like you also still have to carry on with life. So it was a lot of thoughts. The next day we had very scary storms that I stayed home for. We actually all stayed home that day. And I made egg roll in a bowl. If you guys have seen the week 1 Project Life, then you'll already have seen, and week 2, actually, a lot of this will seem very redundant. I started reading Hercule Poirot's Christmas with Jen, and then started rewatching Wheel of Time. What in the literal and actual fuck? So first let's go this way. So I definitely clearly was dazed and distracted. I snoozed the alarm and felt like I was behind all day. I started season 2 of Wheel of Time and was also watching a lot of Leilani Scraps, because again, I was trying to start getting content ready for when I was going to be gone and just staying ahead of the curve. And then this is also where I accidentally deleted all the Plan With Me content because I was dazed and distracted. I was keeping little notes too as I read the book, like part 1, part 2, so that I would kind of like make little notes about how I was feeling about the book as I went. I didn't do it for every single section I read or anything like that, but yeah, there's at least little thoughts, which is funny because one update I do put that I think that a certain person is very suspicious and suspect them as the murderer, and lo and behold, it was, and I love when that happens. So I have the new moon in Capricorn notes and literally don't even have the strength for tarot today. A very quick to-do list, and then what in the literal and actual fuck is in a very long blurb about this. So I am not a person that I can thrive in chaos, but I also fucking despise stupidity in chaos. Like, I am a person that can look at chaos and say, take a deep breath. All right, surface level, what's the priority? Okay, what are the priorities? Who needs to do what? Go. Like, I can get very quick. And I think, again, that comes from retail experience where you've got to be fast and you've got to keep that face on. So basically what happens is I got to work early because we had a client coming in very much earlier than we normally do. So I got there early. And with the weather being icky, I was going to do my hair and makeup there while I printed and did things. So I'm there very, very early. So I get there and I start working through some stuff. And then I realize we don't have internet. So then it's like, I need to call my boss and make sure that she prints everything so that if we don't get it back, we're okay. We have all of the printed materials and she can print them from home. Then she sends me home because she wants me to be able to work. So I get home. And at this point, too, my makeup and hair was like half done. So that's weird. And then, hold on. There we go. I was just checking to see what the phone alert that I had was. And Jeff is going to come early today. So I'm just trying to keep up with that. But, so I get home, start working on hair and makeup again, barely get the car unpacked and get everything, upload or started, and then find out the internet's back on. I can go back to the office. So it was just like, this was the day. This was the takeout day. So how I was saying that I didn't want to get takeout another day. By the time I got there, it's like 12:30. We're going to go through these appointments. Oh, and the person that I was there for early canceled last minute, which was even crazier. So that meant that we only had one appointment. And thankfully that went fine, but as soon as that person was over, I was ready for us all to go home, and that was just not in the cards. That was wishing on a pipe dream. So I thought it was really just funny that by the end of the day, I was like, I'm done. I'm getting takeout. I know, kitten. Sorry, guys. She's got thoughts. I can't promise that she won't hop up here or have more of them. She is very anxious for Jeffrey to get here. She has not seen him since we got back from our trip. But yes, basically, because I gave my boss soup and bourbon balls, she was like, go get takeout on me. Then was my Friday off, and it was good. I went and saw the Hunger Games. I actually like that I put the review kind of in this band because I didn't have a lot of to-dos. It was mainly like content errands and really just kind of taking it easy. And then I was really bummed because none of the Hunger Games were streaming for free anymore at that point, and I thought that they were. So I was really looking forward to like coming home and putting them on the TV in the background while I did some filming. So there was that whole thing. And yeah, that was wild. Not to mention the fact that I didn't know it was supposed to rain, and I came out of one of the shops and it was just like sheeting rain. And it was hella cold. So that was just not great. The next day was Owen's actual birthday party. So there was not a lot of to-doing to be done. I was also trying to figure out what I was going to do because I had deleted that content. So you'll see like a video planned and then it marked out several times. It did end up being a vlog, like a daily vlog, I think for like the 16th or something. But yeah, I tried to film that day and it didn't work out. So I just kind of talk about the birthday party and getting to meet Tanner, which is the new baby. So Mike and Kathleen, some friends of ours, had a baby back in October, and I finally got to meet him. I talk about the venue of Main Event. I had never been to one before, but it's kind of like an adult Chuck E. Cheese vibe. And it was really cool because they had everything really well timed and really efficient. And I was really quite pleased. Like, there was bowling, arcade, there was a ropes course, they had laser tag, they had a party room for X amount of time. I think that's it. I think that was it. So lots of activities. It went on for like 4 hours. It was a very long party. And then we were talking a lot about Mardi Gras plans, and the kind of like itinerary was fleshing out a little bit better. So Sunday, super cry emoji. Jeff and I had a very long conversation and just hashed out a lot of things and tension that we just needed to chat through. So my day of content and cleaning went completely out the window. Like, I got up and was able to film like one spread, and then went to his house and we talked and spent the rest of the day together. And the next day was taken up by a very short to-do list, a hair appointment at 4:30 that was on the total opposite side of Atlanta. So it was an hour and change away, and I had some errands that I needed to run over there. But because I came from Jeff's, I was running late. Then this is the day that I find out that the card issue is going on, and I need to like figure it the fuck out so that I can pay for my hair appointment. It was a mess. So this was just like a lot of ranting about the all over the placeness. This was almost a snow day. I love that title. And just, like I said, I will very rarely use an icy or snow themed washi because it never snows here. Like, I say that and watch it, it's gonna snow, but it very rarely snows here. Like, we might get it once a year, and it's usually about this time of year if it's gonna happen. And I was really optimistic. I thought, like, everything in the forecast said that it was gonna happen, and then it just fell through at the end, and I did have to go into work, which wasn't super fun. I need to color in these stars because I finished The Creator because I had fallen asleep during it and wanted to rewatch the last of it. And then Monarch, I did finish it. And what's weird is several days later? Didn't that happen? I'm flipping ahead. Yes, several days later, we went to Justin's and did like a big leftover sharing escapade, and we watched one of the Godzilla movies, and I'd seen them, but I had not paid attention like quite like I would for like Hobbit or Star Wars or anything like that. And I realized that Monarch was a thing before, so it was really cool to like see those notations. This is also like, I'm sure you're kind of seeing, like, I've settled into a style with like my headings and then the task lists that go under them. And I really, really love this because it's just like such a great brain dump for me. Even if the lists are somewhat over ambitious, it's just like a great like brain dump. Wheel of Time finale was so good. I'm so excited season 3 is coming. And I watched A Man Called Otto. It was very sad and overwhelming and heartwarming. It was so, so good. If you have ever read anything from Frederick Bachman, who is A Man Called Otto, is based off of a book that he wrote called A Man Called Ovu. Kind of, it's hard because it's European, so I think that the name changes a little bit, but it's so, so good. And the movie was very in line with his writing style. So I felt like I was getting like a very clear adaptation from the book in terms of the tone of the author. I've read 2 of his books, and all that did was it makes me really want them to make a movie about the My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry thing book. That is a very conglomerated way to say that title, but that book, because I really think that with like special effects, they could really create a really pretty version of the world that she creates with her grandmother. And I think it would be really, really nice. Getting into the 18th. Oh, my apartment threw a pizza night. So we had pizza. We started watching Aftershock. Why did I start at the bottom? Don't want to be here. It's so cold. I was supposed to be remote, but quote unquote had to come in, which was pointless. And one theme that started to appear more in January than any other month than it ever has. I've always kind of been like, I have a lot of personal shit to do, but it was almost like more prevalent in January because honestly, I was like in such a good place and workflow. Do not hop up here, Banks. I was in like such a good place with my workflow that I was getting so much done in the office and being so efficient that a lot of times I would kind of be there and be like, I don't have anything to do, right? I know. I would much rather be here with you. I know. Jeff will be here soon. If she hops up here, I'm so sorry. We're really close to the end, but we'll see how it goes. So I hate days where I have to go into the office and I really don't have anything to do. So I've actually taken to making sure I keep my planner with me and kind of like a craft bag with me now. So I can like wrap up planner spreads or play catch up or something like that there. Like something that's easier for me to do from there that's not like I gotta spread out my whole craft room. Gilded Age, I continued my rewatch and podcasting. A workout, don't do it. I did a 45-minute elliptical routine, which at that time I really had been keeping it to like 30 minutes. Just so that I didn't overwork anything. And I've at this point now gone all the way up to an hour. I think she's gonna hop up here if I don't pick her up and cuddle her just for a minute. She's gonna want to sit. Okay, thank you, ma'am. And then I went ahead and did the weekend shopping so I could go straight to Jeff's. Because of the schedule that my cat eats on, I don't always, like, I can't leave her for days on end or anything like that. Like a lot of cats, you can just put enough kibble in their bowl, and there definitely was a time in her life where I could do that. But now that she's getting older and she's also had digestive issues that have cost several $100, like over $1,000 at this point, and she's had to be flushed and all of that. That was traumatizing for everyone. Thankfully, we've not had any issues like that in a long time, but that's also because I make sure that she has pumpkin and papaya and Miralax at least once a day mixed into her food. So it's super important that I kind of keep her on a regimen. So I actually did everything to where I could hit the road and not waste the day, because Jeff and I try to have as much of the day as humanly possible. It was super cold this day, and so we had this was the day I was talking about in the weeklies where we just made a lot of really good food. So all I wanted to do this day was cook, be cozy, and catch up in my Hobonichi. So I actually got a ton of pages done over these 2 days. I want to say I did like 5 or 6 each day, like full pages like this. And then I kind of made like a content list of some things that I wanted to film or some things that I needed to do, and I like broke them out. If I have a day like this where I don't have a lot of to-dos, I will take a topic and really just like blow it out so that I can like see all the steps of a particular plan. Sunday was the day that I was talking about where we were cozy, and then we went to Justin. So it really wasn't a super productive day. So that's why the to-do list isn't long, or a lot of things just migrated. Because I basically got home, fed the cat, and then had to turn around and go to his house. This is one of my favorite things to do, and that is, and I did have to recruit the help of a piece of paper before I made this. So what I will typically do is write down everything that needs to be done for a trip, everything. And then I will say, okay, I have this many days between now and the trip. What tasks need to go on what days? And I structure them based off my work schedule. If something needs to be due by that particular, like for instance, like we left on Thursday, but I needed to treat Banks the day before and just make sure like she was good on flea and tick medication because she was going to be around other animals. I just wanted to be double, triple sure she was like good. Other things you'll see, I was making bracelets. Content is flickered in here of like days that I wanted certain things to be done so that it wasn't all left to last minute. workouts I wanted to do, cleaning tasks. Meatballers was supposed to be there that day, which is one of my favorite meal trucks. But like if something's day specific, like up until they did end up not going to that location that day, but for instance, that is happening on that day. I need to know that. And I can also structure a day like, for instance, I knew I didn't need to cook dinner that day because I could pick it up and I could focus on cleaning or packing or whatever. So again, you just take everything that you need to get done, you take all the days, and you just plug and play. And that way also you can see if days are too heavy or too light and kind of sprinkle out your workload a little bit. Like for me, it doesn't matter if my bathroom gets clean the day that I leave or 3 days before I leave. I would just like to come home to a really clean bathroom. Like that's the whole kind of gist of it. So this is just like all the tasks and broken down. And then this was the task list for my actual day. And I was really not happy because I did my taxes and I came back to find out that we're doing amended W-2s, and even more annoying, I only got $9 back in taxes from that return. So the days of like pretty tax returns are gone. I love this page for one reason and one reason alone. This freaking holographic watercolor right there. So cute. So it was a rainy day and it definitely was like a good day for tea. I spent, oh, I'm so sorry. That sounds so terrible. We're almost at the end, guys. So I've got my big, nice, long to-do list. There's icky weather. I'm not happy about it. And I had to be in the office, which wasn't super entertaining. And then my brain was like already so focused on like trip mode and making sure that everything was situated with like work and home and that content and everything. Like I was literally trying to do a little bit of content every day so that I was staying ahead and that I wouldn't get overwhelmed at the end. Jeff and I had soup and I made him a melt. I do remember that. This is the juice cleanse. So I did 3 days of juice cleanse. Why don't I have notes? Oh, I do. I was like, where'd my notes go? And this is why I say that this juice cleanse went better than any other. And I really want to credit it to the fact that I took notes. I took notes about when I drink the juices or if I had a snack like raw nuts. I did it even if I ate something that I wasn't supposed to or that wasn't recommended. So I had some Trader Joe's sour cream and onion lentil and rice snacks, and I only had a half serving, mainly because I got them and I really just wanted to try them. But I got my to-do list. Jeff and Justin went to see Tool. This is like basically my meal plan for the whole day. And then this is me just kind of like talking about that I had a really successful content creation day, which was really nice. And then I was also rating the juices as I drank them and making like little notes like along the way, like fresh and light and bright, sweet and fruity. And then the next day, I love celery juice. 1, yuck, yuck. Worse than Mighty Dozen. Mighty Dozen is like one of my least favorite because it's just like green and chunky kind of in a way. It's just, the celery was worse, so much worse. My naughty thing for this day was a half serving of peanut butter filled pretzels. Terrible. I was also putting a tablespoon of bee pollen in all of my overnight oats, which was so good for my sinuses. I did have 3 sneaky bites of spicy deer chili and a kind thin bar. As you can see, I did not play hard and fast with the juice cleanse. I did on the last day. I did, and I actually didn't even drink all the juices that I needed to every day. But again, I keep going back to this was the best one because I did find like the raw nut snacks that I like. I did find a good overnight oatmeal that works for me and my schedule and my taste buds, and like I figured more things out. And I think moving forward I'm going to try to do one every single month instead of one every single quarter. They are a little pricey and I don't recommend ordering direct from Suja. I recommend if you have the availability to go to a grocery store and get the juices, to do it yourself. Thankfully, I can go to Kroger and get mine, and they'll run specials on them too. So basically, it turns out to be like, I don't know, like 30% less or something like that for me to just go get them myself, which I will totally 100% back. So there's that. Let me see if there's any other like admirable notes. Jeff got a new truck. That was a big deal. And we were watching Chowchilla, which was also terrifying. I liked that I tried out doing the same kind of empty bubble style, but I did it with the Tombow hard tip on this day. This was the day that I woke up with the neck pain the first time. I finished Gilded Age season 1 and I finished the juice cleanse. I need to put a little line through this one, but I don't have a black pen up here on my desk. But I'm starting to do the like line through the zeros like Helen does, and I really love how it looks. It just looks so clean and nice. Then I have the plan reality. So the plan was to do all of this that you see lots of arrows by. And then Jeff was going to come over for dinner and I was cooking. Well, at like, I don't know, like 10:30. So I finished filming week 2 that morning and I was going to do the voiceover. And he calls and he's like, so Mike, because he had plans with Mike, he was like, hey, so Mike can't do it until later. So can I have some errands I need to run over there. Can I come hang out with you and wait there? Of course you can. So he was going to come over. Well, about an hour after that, I don't even think it was an hour after that, he calls and he's like, so now we can't do it anymore and we're going to have to do it in the morning. So that meant that it went from Jeff was going to be entertained the majority of the day to now I needed to entertain Jeffrey for the majority of the day. So we went out in the rain, which was not so bad. It was kind of gross, but it was really fun to ride around in his new truck because that was the first chance I really had a chance to ride in it. So we went and we ran some errands and then we picked up pizza and some cake from my favorite bakery down the street. This is one of my favorite 2-page spreads. It's just really clean and dainty and kind of, I don't know, botanical journaling, and it's so pretty. So these stickers are from a book that I got from Shein, just like a random sticker book. And then I think these are, this washi is from Prima. So that was really pretty. Very accurate words. Oh fuck was all that I thought. This is when I pinched my neck, like in the shower. And I knew at that point, one, I didn't have the time that I needed because we were leaving on the 1st. I did not have time to ice on and off every 10 or 15 minutes in these couple days. Even though the chiropractor did end up telling me like, you need to do that. I didn't have time to do that and trust that it would hold. And I knew that I needed professional help. So I tried icing it and doing what I could to it on the actual 30th. And then Jeffrey and I went to dinner together. He had a gift card that a family friend of theirs had given to him at Christmas. And so we just took it and went to eat and did a pickup order from Kohl's for him. And then the next day I went to Loving Hands Chiropractic. They were freaking amazing. My pain, I put 4 out of 5, but I shit you not, guys, like my pain was like 5 out of 5. Like I couldn't sleep. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything without it pinching or hurting in some way, shape, or form. Like I was beyond. And then I put the affirmation washi to just kind of be like, you is kind, you is smart, you is important, like you can do this, because I was feeling like the universe was trying to kick my ass and I still had so much to do before we left, and then having to take time away from work to go handle my neck and back and all that. And they wanted to see me 2 days in a row so that we could treat it as much as possible before I was gone. And then I also had my 4-year anniversary lunch. So this is me more so talking about that I got a raise and that work was crazy and I had to stay late, more than anything. But that is it for January. I am so excited to go through February with you guys. I have ordered some sticker paper, so I'm hoping that I have some really cute stickers in there that are from my camera reel, and we can talk about how those are created as well. But until that flip through, I hope you guys enjoyed the first planner flip of the year. I look forward to the next 12 or the next 11 of them, and I hope you guys had a great January and are having a fantastic Valentine's Day with the people that you love and care for, whether that's little Valentines, whether that's fur Valentines, which I fully support that, or an actual grown human companion. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and if not, I hope you guys are self-loving and buying yourself heart-shaped pizzas and tacos and anything and everything your heart desires. Treat yourself, have an amazing day, and enjoy creating your own wonderlands until the next time I see you. Bye.